What's going on, fellow A-pluses? It's your boy Adam Perez. I'm back once again with a brand new episode review as we're going to be diving into Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, the brand new MCU or Marvel animation animated series over on Disney Plus, our brand new Spider-Man animated show. I've been really looking forward to this one ever since it was certainly announced. I think when it first started off, they had plans on making this part of the MCU timeline, but as they went ahead and was creating it, they decided they wanted themselves a little bit more freedom. So this is very much an alternate universe, if you will, for Spider-Man, which seems to be set up at least during the maybe Civil War era of the MCU, if you will, just kind of flipped on its head after watching the first couple of episodes in here. But we will be doing this on a weekly basis. I think we're only going to get 4 weeks worth of this season. I think we got ourselves 3 episodes next week, 3 episodes following that, and then there's going to be a 2 episode sort of season finale on the final week. So I don't know when I'm going to get these to you guys. If anything, I would like to try and get them to at least by Thursday at the latest, since these air on Tuesdays, if I'm not mistaken. But well, who knows? Regardless, you should certainly get these reviews by or at least before the weekend. So I am a couple days late with episodes 1 through 2, but I'm so glad I had the opportunity to sit down and just binge watch them this evening. It is in fact Thursday night when I'm watching it, so you'll probably see this sometime Sunday afternoon, Friday afternoon, or Friday evening. But let's talk about this, man. First off, I am kind of curious if you guys have had the opportunity to check out Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. If you have, let me know your thoughts in the live chat or the comments as you're watching this particular episode review. But let's go ahead and dive into it, man. Look, let me just say this. I was a really big fan of the first 2 episodes in here. I had no qualms with the animation. The animation continued to grow on me each and every episode that we've had, and I really enjoy sort of the action sequences that we wind up getting, especially in this animation style. There are very much a lot of like comic book panel-esque sort of really cool interactions when it comes to the action, at least especially when we get the first part of action with Doctor Strange and this alien symbiote to kind of kick off the first episode, which I was actually a really big fan of. I love the pacing of the first episode, especially. I think I probably liked the first episode a little bit more than I did the second one. But the idea of launching us sort of into the May Parker and Peter Parker relationship, getting an idea of the whole Ben Parker thing without sitting on it too long for us, establishing May and Peter's relationship with one another, if you will, and then immediately introducing them to this brand new high school where action immediately sort of hits us. And it was just really fun, really cool design for the Doctor Strange character and the Venom symbiote. Even though I've seen some of the still photos and whatnot and some of the clips, it was really cool kind of coming to see it come to life animation style, with just the dynamic sort of style of visuals that they had for this episode. So really great pacing in regards to kicking us off. And I also really love the unique sort of spin and take on his origin story, the idea of how he gets bit, this being like a spider from clearly like another dimension biting him, and him passing out, and then going right into the incredible sort of opening theme song that we have in here. So the first 5 minutes of episode 1 just kind of really blew me away. I was a really big fan of it, honestly. And if I did have any question, one of the things that I think I took away from episode 1, scratching my head and curious about, after Peter Parker passes out, you do still see the spider attached to somebody's bag that they pick up and they slowly walk away. So I do wonder if that's a breadcrumb, like if that's like a foreshadowing that the spider's still out there. It's potential that the spider could bite other people too. Like, who's the person that picked up that bag? Did they go on to do other things? Do they have powers or whatever the case may be? I do wonder if they left that open-ended that way for a particular reason, or if that's really the last of it. So I am kind of curious to see how that's going to turn out. One of the things I also really love about this is that Peter's not really getting bullied in here. Like with Peter being such a nerd, I felt like in the early 1960 comics and stuff, there was always the Flash Thompson sort of bully, right? The people that would pick on him for being a nerd. But it seems as though his supporting characters and his surrounding friends, all really dig him and all really like appreciate him. And so for me, I kind of enjoyed the flip of the stereotypes that they have in this story. Whether that be even though Peter's a nerd, he's still appreciated, or Lonnie, the jock, not being a dumb box of rocks. You know what I mean? Like, I love the fact that he's clearly smart, clearly educated. His family loves him. While he clearly lives in maybe the not so safe part of town, getting profiled by police officers that they drive by. Like, Lonnie clearly has a tough life, isn't necessarily happy with his life fully. I think maybe he's a little bit lonely in certain regards. I mean, the fact that Peter kind of walks away from him and he almost feels like I don't want to say empty, but he gives this heavy sigh as like Pearl leaves, as Peter leaves, and he's got to go home by himself, sort of thing. I do wonder like what that feeling for him is like. Is it this sense of not having any friends after school? Like, is he just popular because of the fact that he's a football player? Like, outside of football, does nobody really want to kind of hang out with him, sort of thing? But he seems like he's a really great kid. He goes home, wants to help his family out, help his brother out, help his mom out. So I really love the idea that they're just not making him this stereotypical dumb jock, and he's somebody that wants to learn from Peter and wants to be friends with Peter. And for me, that just feels so fresh in the sense of seeing Peter slowly have a great supporting cast of characters and friends around him that really just want to be around him. I've been a really big fan of him and Nico as far as their relationship goes, their bond and the cracks that the wise cracks that they have back and forth with each other, the jokes and stuff like that. So I really appreciate the bonds and the relationships that have kind of been forming here in the first couple of episodes. And it's crazy to me that if there are any bullies, if there is anybody that's like really giving Peter a hard time, it's his peers, right? It's like the other scientists that are just as smart as he is, as we get to meet Amadeus Cho in here in episode number 2, and a couple of other scientists as well. One from Wakanda, I can't remember, was it Asha? I can't remember her name, but somebody from Wakanda also. So I really like the unique spin on things in here, and you can clearly tell it's definitely during the Civil War time. I mean, the first shot when we get sort of the landscape of the city, as you get that zoom in, it reminds me of the Civil War shot where the Queen's, wording pops up to let us know we were at. And it definitely takes me back to that particular moment. And then they literally almost reenacted the scene of Peter Parker walking down the hallway, going inside his house, May having him pay attention and come to find his future mentor sitting in the living room, sort of thing. So it's just really cool, some of the echoes of the MCU that are certainly in here, but the really cool like fresh take that they've certainly given us in here so far. And really cool too, I think, one scene that really kind of took me back that I'm surprised, well, not surprised, but I'm glad that they left in here, was the scene of Peter Parker and Spider-Man giving this lady a chance, right? Like somebody who's clearly down on her luck, really in a bad position, saw an opportunity to take it. She's not a career criminal. It's not like she's trying to rob a bank or anything like that, but she does something dumb and stupid and steals some quick cash. And even though she gets caught, I do love the fact that Peter is reasonable enough to understand what the circumstance was, and even talk to the shop owner to see if he was willing to go ahead and give her another chance, sort of thing. And like just that life lesson of, look, don't make me regret this, right? Like, I'm going to give you a second opportunity. People deserve second opportunities in life. Not everybody is trying to take over the world or kill somebody, sort of thing. And so to have that wherewithal and be that type of superhero, I thought was really, really cool, honestly. And is it just me? But I thought when, and this goes back to the Civil War movie too, when Tony Stark um, tells Peter Parker that he knows that he's Spider-Man, or is like looking at some of the YouTube videos. In the YouTube video, doesn't he also save a bus from a car almost running into it? Similar to how he did in this particular episode when people really started to kind of take notice of him also. So I just thought that was pretty interesting in the sense that he saves people the same way that he did in that quick YouTube video that wind up going viral of him. So really cool stuff in here. Got the introduction to Norman Osborn. I am kind of curious, even though he knows Norman Osborn, I was thinking to myself, didn't he recognize Harry Osborn? But I don't think Harry in episode one, when he saves his life, I don't think he drops his last name. I think he just says, "I'm Harry." And Peter's cool with that, and then he introduces himself as Spider-Man or whatnot. So yeah, I'm assuming if anything, maybe he didn't know that he was Harry Osborn, the son of Norman Osborn. But things are definitely going to get a lot more interesting now that Norman Osborn has already two episodes in, known that he finds out that he is in fact sort of Spider-Man. I will be interested to see how he handles the news, even though he's got that that look on his face of displeasure in finding out that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. I have a feeling that when we get into episode number 3, we might see a completely different facial appearance and like attributes, like just brand new approach in regards to him maybe actually being really happy to discover that Peter is in fact Spider-Man at the end of the day. But we'll see how things go, man. I think if anything, look, I'm so used to the bad side of Peter Parker's luck. I'm getting the opportunity to see the stress and how much this internship is really gonna take away from Peter's life. It does make me question, like, with the relationship of him and Nico and some of his friends that he's establishing so quickly here in the first 2 episodes might end up being, right? Like, Nico already kind of feels some type of way, like, oh, I guess you were busy, I wind up leaving the party, sort of thing. She was really counting on him to be at the party. I guess very, very much in the same way that Ned was wanting him to be at the party too, in Spider-Man Homecoming. He unfortunately, I mean, he was there, but he wasn't there, you know what I mean? So definitely some echoes for sure. So I am kind of curious if him taking on this internship, Norman Osborn clearly gonna create some level of like costumes and tech for him and things like that. Like he's really gonna establish himself more as a superhero when his time away from Nico and the rest of his friends really start taking a hampering on his personal life. So I will be really curious to see how it goes. And I love the fact that he's got a crush in Pearl. I feel like the Flash Thompson, Mary Jane, Ned, like all these characters that have Betty Brant, was it Liv Allen, or was it Liz Allen? I can't remember off the top of my head. All these characters are literally like missing from this show, and they've surrounded him with another sort of great group of supporting characters, and I'm glad that he has supporting characters, because for me that's really what has always made Peter Parker and the story of Spider-Man great, is the other characters that have certainly been surrounding him and helped move his story forward and whatnot, and his relationship. So I think they've got really a lot of the great layout and work done for a great Spider-Man series so far, 2 episodes in, and I'm really eager to kind of see where they go from here. The humor, I think, is certainly there. I definitely felt myself cracking up a couple of times, especially when Nico and Peter are talking about Pearl and saying, like, yeah, she would come over, and whenever my parents needed somebody to keep me company, and we always had a good time. It's like, did your parents pay her? She's like, yeah, well, that's her babysitter, bro. Like, it definitely made me laugh, man. I had some really great chuckles in here. I just kind of like fire and to watch it burn. He's like, Peter, those are like red flags, right? Like, it definitely made me laugh for sure. So the humor is definitely there. The action is certainly there. I thought the I don't even know what the villain in episode 2 certainly was, but I did love the dynamic of trying to see Spider-Man up against sort of like a fire starter. So pretty neat, man, pretty neat. So we'll see what happens for the remainder of this particular show, but 2 episodes in, man, I'm really enjoying it so far. Oh, introduction of Dr. Connors also in here really worked for me. Got him working on some energy research as part of his um, um, internship. I believe they're trying to create, like, or not necessarily duplicate the Stark reactor, but they called it the new self-sustaining battery. So Peter Parker definitely has his work cut out for him. But yeah, man, I really appreciate the supporting cast, the liberties that they're taking in here, the flipping of some of the stereotypes, and really establishing a lot of the great characters that I come to know and love so far, 2 episodes in. But look, guys, at the end of the day, these are simply my A+ opinions. I want to know yours. What did you guys think about episodes 1 and 2 of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section box below. But until then, do me a big favor, as always, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and keep it A+. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.